Hello, everyone. Today we will be talking about ribbon charts. Big picture, what are they? Why are they important? And what else is out there, especially for us lieutenants and young captains who haven't yet gone to our second assignment, just trying to figure out what else is out there. So what is a ribbon chart? Think dream sheet. Helps map out our future. The commander can keep their eyes open for good deals, and they can be updated and changed. So for dream sheet, it's what are you interested in? What would fit best with your family, your lifestyle, all that, especially coming out of pilot training when we had to do a dream sheet then. That's kind of what a ribbon chart is. Helps map out our future. If you want a master's or something like that, you can try to fit it in with the ribbon chart. Helps you see out 5-10 years from now. Commander can keep their eyes open for good deals. So Colonel Kramer and Colonel Trumbull are the ones that really pay attention to these ribbon charts. And if they have an idea of what your ribbon chart says, then they know, okay, if we see AFPC says that this slot is available, and Colonel Trumbull knows that, or he remembers seeing on your ribbon chart that this is something you'd be interested in, he can call you in and be like, hey, we have this opening. Are you interested in? But if you don't have a ribbon chart filled out, then he sees this good deal, but he doesn't know necessarily who would want it. So ribbon charts kind of keep the commanders and chief pilot in the loop. And they can always be updated and changed. Like every year or so, you should go in and see what your ribbon chart says. I know when I pulled up my ribbon chart from when I first filled it out, I already noticed that there were a couple of things I wanted to change and that I no longer wanted to do a couple of things. So go in and update them whenever you think that it's no longer up to date. All right, so this is what a ribbon chart looks like. I picked my year group 2017, but pretty much these can be modified to each year group. All that changes is the years at the top. So let's work our way from top left and then all the way down. So self-explanatory, your name, year group, PCS. So that's whenever you showed up based on your time on station, current MDS, and then when it's current as of. So if we look at the first column, which I don't have a pointer, but if you see year one, it says Travis Air Force Base. These columns can be dragged left or right. So let's say 3 years on station is 2021. Then you can drag it left or right, depending on if you want to be staying, try to maximize 4 years, or if you want 3 years. This is just a baseline one, so this is not technically correct, but it says Travis, and it has your AC upgrade when you are thinking about deploying, and then when you would like to make IP upgrade, and then this one has a coast to coast going to Dover. But it does have where you can drag AC upgrade when you think deploying would be best or when you would like to. And then all the way, if you scan your eyes to where it says 2028 and it says 96 gates, that's saying around this time frame, because 96 gates has to do with months. So it's 8 years. So roughly that's 8 years. And then you'll be gate complete. And then a lot of doors will open after your gate. Then if you look down past year 3, it says personal life. So this is where you can share maybe if you're interested in a master's, like when you think about getting a master's, when you think about starting a family, because that will factor into your decisions on what you want to do next. And then captains, that's based on your years in service. Those really don't have to change, but maybe the month of when you'll be promoting, and then as well as your major promotion. Then if we look down, we see there's the notes section. This is where they can get an idea of where you are in your upgrade process. And then they can kind of track out what you're interested in on base as well. So maybe your next job, like if you think about joining the group or the wing, then they can be aware that that's something you want to work towards. And then it has a section for goals. So this example says goal is to end up back at Travis to fly with the reserve. So that way they can see, project all the way down. Or yeah, we think that the moves that you want to make. So I'd say you wanted to do like a C12 or something, they're like, hey, maybe that's not best for wanting to end up in the reserves. So they can see, okay, if this is your end goal, maybe the steps you want to take should be a little different than what you have currently. Another thing is this is something where you can kind of put down something that's really important to you. So maybe going to a pilot training base wouldn't be best for your career and your spouse's career. So you can say prefer not to go to pilot training or something if you feel inclined to put so. But maybe being an ambassador is. So you could say, hey, my end goal is to be an ambassador. So I love flying, but this is something that I want to accomplish. And then lastly, the bottom left corner, we have gate months, other qual, staff, highest PME completed. Kind of those can be filled out as you complete them, just kind of puts it on the radar for Colonel Trumbull and Colonel Kramer. And then your OPR lines, that's just so they can see what you've accomplished. Let's see. All right, this is mine. Don't want to go too much into it just because I kind of explained what a ribbon chart is, but I just wanted you to see what it would look like with like real information. I kind of moved the scale based on how long I wanted to stay on station, what interests me. And then another goal, as I said, okay, my goal is to end up back at Travis because that's where my family is and that's where I want my kids to grow up. But other than that, that's what a filled out one looks like. All right, so this header says learn more, control your own destiny. That's because when I was building this presentation, I was putting a lot of information out there. And then I realized, there's so much good information out there. I can't give you everything at once. There's too much. So I'm going to give you some tools on where to find this good information. And then it's up to you to get the information and kind of become experts on your own. So control your own destiny. I will try to give you all the tools and you can reference this in the future, but it's really on you to become the most educated you can be. So MyPERS has everything you need, and that's a good place to start. This is a lot of being, once I joined the Chief Pilot Office, there was a lot of things I learned. And so this may be things that captains and majors already know. But as lieutenants, me personally did not know a lot about this. So this may be a little dumbed down, but it's a good place to start. So if you go to the MyPERS homepage and if you click on active duty officers assignments on the homepage, then it will take you to so many assignments. I was finding weapons school information, AMLO information. There was a whole ton of information just based on officer assignments. So I would say that's the first place to start if you wanted to start learning about jobs that are out there and how you can apply and what you need. This is, again, you can get to MyPERS on the Air Force portal. Also on MyPERS, you can check out PSDMs. I know we always say PSDMs. I'd never actually known what the acronym stood for. It's Personnel Services Delivery Memorandum. You won't need to know that, but in case you were wondering, I thought instead of using all these acronyms, you might as well know what they stand for. Again, you go to the portal, type in MyPERS, and then you'll click on View PSDM Listing. Note, PSDMs are seasonal. So what this means is if you were to click on View PSDM Listing, based on the time of the year that you went to go find a PSDM, you may only find board results. So for part of the year, they'll have PSDMs and they'll have it's almost like an application. It says what the job is about, what you need, the requirements, and how you would go about applying for it. And then the other part of the year, they'll take down the PSDM that teaches you about the job or the requirements, and then they'll put the board results. So depending on the type of the year or the time of the year, you may not find the PSDM about the job. So if you look previous, you can go to the Officer Duty Assignments homepage. Hold on, I just want to make sure we don't have anyone. We have Travis Park waiting. All right, sorry, he should be joining. One moment. Okay. All right, look at your SURF, which here's the acronym again, single unit retrieval format for some good information like your number of gate months, rated information, decorations, and deployment history. So prior to the Chief Pilot Office, I'd never seen my SURF, didn't know what information it had, didn't know what it meant really. So this is also another good place to start to kind of learn about yourself and what the Air Force is tracking and kind of goals you can reach based on just looking at your CERF. So how you get there, Air Force portal, type in AMS. And then once you click on AMS, it'll take you to a screen and then it'll have these columns. So if you roll over personnel information and then it has a drop down bar, you can click on my career brief and then you'll select on consolidated CERF and it'll pop it up. So like I said, it has gate months. That's important because a lot of the PSDMs will say you can only apply for rated positions. You can only apply once you're gate 1 complete, which is 96 months. It also has your decoration. So if you win any medals and your deployment history, it tracks when you last deployed. It also has like your service dates, which could be interesting to you. PSDMs will outline like being gate 1 complete, which equates to 96 months or approximately 8 years. That's kind of what I already said. So here's an example of what a PSDM looks like. This is an example of last year's Phoenix Horizon PSDM, courtesy of Captain Denny, who won the Phoenix Torch slot. So as you can see, it says, really, if you just look down, it says things that are some requirements. So time on station must have 2 years time on station, developmental education, completion of primary PDE, pretty much. So yeah, it'll lay out some requirements and who can apply. If you wanted to go find it, which I did try to go find it, all I could find was the board results. So I had Captain Denny send me her PSDM for Phoenix Horizon. But that's what one will look like if you've never looked at a PSDM before. All right, job options. Talking about job options and how I was building this presentation, there were so many things I wanted to put down, and I did end up putting it down a lot, but this is no way the complete list. Again, you're kind of controlling your own destiny. And I did try to include information on what's important or what they're about, but this is just like a stepping stone for you to start learning more. And especially use that cruise time when you're talking to your ACs and your IPs and your evaluators on what else is out there and what they're interested in, because more than likely they've been researching it more heavily than you who just started out. So AMLO. For AMLO, I tried to include a lot of information just so you could, just so I could show you how much information you can get on it. And then later I just kind of listed. So AMLO, what is the AMLO assignment? They're normally 3-year assignments. Assignments to the Korean Peninsula are typically 1 year, which makes sense. That's what Captain Prisnell got. A 2-year company tour may be requested. Some billets or jump billets allow an officer to remain attached to a flying unit to accrue gate months, which is what Captain Carter is doing. And then for attached flying positions, a member should be an aircraft commander or higher. So there it lists a requirement. Here are some of the locations. I know a lot of people were kind of wondering what AMLO is. I know we had Captain Carter come on and speak to it, and he said there are a lot of locations. So I just wanted to show you that there are a lot of locations, CONUS, OCONUS in the Europe Pacific, tons of opportunities. And then again, you can reference this later if you don't want to go find the information here, it is for you. And then in the future slides, I bolded some of the job options. So in bold are 95% of what applies to lieutenants after first assignments. So a lot of these assignments are great opportunities, but they don't necessarily apply to us who are just leaving our first assignment. Either we won't be gate 1 complete, we don't have enough experience or hours to be competitive. So AMLO, however, is one that can apply to us. All right, we have the 89th at Andrews Air Force Base. These are the kinds of planes they fly. And Zampini, who recently left, he is at the 89th. So I'm planning on having him come speak to it. But that's another point of contact if you wanted to learn more. We have OSA, Operational Support Airlift. That's pretty much all DV airlift. And we had Major Zaleski go to Hawaii for OSA. So I plan on bringing him back too to speak to it. I just kind of want to list some people who have done these things and are great people to talk to. But again, Zampini and Zaleski were not leaving their first assignment. They had experience in hours. So that's why they were competitive for these. Phoenix Torch, I'll build the Phoenix. So these, there we go. These three Phoenix programs all fall under the Phoenix Horizon branch. So Phoenix Torch, Phoenix Reach, and Phoenix Mobility are the three branches that make up the Phoenix Horizon. So when you look for a PSDM, you're looking for the Phoenix Horizon PSDM, and it'll encompass all three of these. So what's Phoenix Torch? Captain Denny would be a great person to talk to, but pretty much you go to Scott Air Force Base for AMC headquarters and you work for, it's a staff assignment. It's a great opportunity, 2 to 3 years you can extend, but opens the door definitely. Phoenix Reach is to tankers usually. Speaking with people more experienced, they don't like to see a C5 crossflow into a C-17, a cargo crossflow. It's not impossible, but usually you'll see a tanker crossflow, and you can also Phoenix Reach to the 89th. Phoenix Mobility, this one I definitely don't know a lot about, but I believe Major Garcia is currently doing this, and he would be a point of contact for the Double Deuce. It's contingency response and en route mobility enterprise broadening. So big picture, this was given to me, big picture, go places without airfields and make airfields. So that's a place to start. If you've never heard of Phoenix Mobility, that's kind of what they're about. Continuing, we have AETC. Really, everyone should know what this is, but if you didn't know, you can do, so it's 4 UPT bases, and then you can do a 3 and 2 or a 2 and 2. Those are super competitive, but let's say you really want to end up at Pitt. That's where San Antonio is where you want to be. It's something you can strive for. It's super competitive, but it's not impossible. So 3 and 2 and 2 and 2, pretty much what that means is you'll be doing 2 years at an AETC base and then be doing the 2 years at being a Pitt instructor. Dover Coast to Coast. So AETC and Dover Coast to Coast, those would still be open to us. This next one is something you can target a second assignment, but I know a lot of people are interested in this. So FAO target 7 to 10 years after commission. That's a sweet spot. It requires taking a D-Lab. I think master's is preferred, or having I looked into it, it's having a degree in that certain area where you are applying. I know Captain Fresno would be a great contact. He's been trying to reach out to people who are interested, and he definitely has information. A 1-year remote to get more competitive assignments. So we saw Captain Wangler do something similar. So he is doing a 1-year remote, and then he ended up getting C12, C21s to Ramstein. But that's a great way to open the door to assignments that necessarily would be very hard to get, but do a 1-year remote and then it opens the door. Academy options. So this is something that interests me just because I enjoyed my time there, and I really want to spend time with my tennis coach. So how can I get back there? Well, I looked into being a powered flight instructor, which is an option. And then the second part of this bullet is AAD and speed. So that's advanced academic degree and special experience exchange duty. So pretty much what that means is you would be going to get your master's, and then your follow-on would be to teach at the academy. So when I looked into this, it kind of closed the door, not powered flight, but getting your advanced degree. It closed the door until your Gate 1 complete. So that's another thing. Like if you've always wanted to go back and teach somewhere, make sure you look at that PSDM so you know that you're not trying to waste your time getting it when the door would be closed to you. So that's something that you can try to get later on. Test pilot school and weapons instructor course. Not going to speak too much into this, but that's another option I found when I was going on the active duty officers assignments page. There was so much information on it, where you can go, what airframes. So I know for weapons instructor course, not that we would necessarily be wanting to do that for the C5 airframe. C5 is not one of the planes that allows you to apply for this. However, let's say you cross-flowed into the U2. Then you technically could go to weapons instructor course. I'm making that up. I don't know for sure if the U2 will allow you, but you could cross flow, and then that plane would allow you to apply to weapons instructor course. If that's what you really wanted to do, then you could try to see what plane you would have to cross flow into. So earlier this year, Colonel Trumbull did a talk about VMLs, what he sees, kind of how the VML what it is, how he personally talks to Derek Patrick, our liaison, how he's always talking to them, how the VML works. And he talked about this mentor guide a little bit. And I just wanted to show you that there's things that are great tools out there at our disposal. So just make sure you're looking what's being sent out. If you look down, if you look at developmental opportunities, it talks about High Flight, Phoenix Horizon, Weapon School, AMLO. So this is all information that had been out there that necessarily I hadn't seen. But once I saw it, I realized, wow, this is great information that, just kind of keep your eyes open for when these things get passed out. And then also talks about gate months. So it says 96, that's first gate, 12 years of service. That's your, have to be gate 1 complete in 12 years, but 96 is 8 years. 96 months. And then the next gate would be 120 and then 144. So those are when they talk about gates. So if you're gate 1 complete, it'd be 96, gate 2, gate 3. Now you have an idea. And then developmental timeline. Really, it's easy to follow. It says your SOS by 8 years and then, or by 6 years. And then just kind of, you can look and see, it's kind of projecting how you should be developing in the Air Force. And then lastly, I just wanted to say that the Chief Flight Office is trying to build a PSDM binder because we know PSDMs are seasonal. So if you, let's say you wanted to learn more at Phoenix Horizon, but it's only showing the board results, instead of having to wait, we hope to have a PSDM binder that's mostly up to date. So you can at least come in and learn about what they are instead of having to go find the information. We hope to have the information ready for you. So does anyone have any questions?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Lily, this is it's Adam. Just a few notes. You talked about like when things get sent out. Sometimes things don't get sent out as fast as they can. The squadron is really good about sending stuff out, but if people want to know the sources, like that mentor guide, ribbon chart, if you go to the portal and just search AMC A1K, you'll get to the personnel branch. A1KO is officer development, and then their portal site has all that stuff for you. So like the PSDM is still there for Phoenix Horizon. I'm looking at it right now. They have the mentor guide up, the roadshow slides for FGOs, CGOs. So kind of a not quite a one-stop shop, but a good place to jump off for finding this stuff that you put in the slides. And then I don't know, look at the participants. Most people are been around for a little bit, like maybe Ken, Travis, Burton. Just for those guys that say like gate months, you have to acquire them by flying. So I don't know if that was made clear. If you guys were curious, like it's not just 96 months, it's like 96 months of active flying time. And so it's driven by the 401 is what qualifies as a gate month. But basically you need 96 months of flying, and that continues your flight pay, like you said, up to 12 years. And then your next gate moving forward and all the way up to 144 gate months, which is, a lot later in your career thing to worry about. But basically they want everyone to fly for the first 8-ish years of your career. That includes your pilot training time before you go to staff or some of these other developmental opportunities that take you out of an airplane. So it keeps your flight pay going until you can get back into a cockpit. So in case you guys weren't tracking what that is, you can pull up the information in the 401 about it too. Otherwise, awesome brief. I think this is useful for folks who are looking for opportunities outside the Double Deuce.
Thank you. And that was great information as well. Colonel Kramer, did you want to speak to maybe expectations kind of going into job opportunities? I know I bolded what is out there for first assignments, but if you kind of wanted to speak to us first assignment people and what we can expect.
Yeah, sure. I can speak just very broadly. Yeah, it's kind of like Christmas. It's fun to think about what the future can look like and what's available and thanks for doing this brief. The whole point is just make people aware of some of the things that are out there, and also teach a man to fish. So let people know where the resources are, so you're just more educated, because no one cares more about your career than you do, as the old cliche goes. But I think a key piece that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention is that, especially for the more competitive jobs and airplanes and assignments out there, um, spots are limited, and there's two big pieces that go into determining if you can get what you want or some of these things that are out there. Like I said, there's not a fictional DV squadron in Hawaii with 1,000 pilot billets. It just doesn't exist. So the two big things I want to make sure I get across are that timing is just critical. Timing and availability of these things, and sometimes the timing doesn't work. We try to massage VML moves as we can to try to line people up with opportunities, but timing is everything in the Air Force. And then the second part, control what you can. So all this stuff is performance based. If you want to set yourself up, you got to be a performer. And just parroting what Colonel Trumbull hammers on every time he talks about this. That's your flying proficiency. Being great in the jet, and also a closer in the office, being great in the office. What does that mean? What do we look for there? That doesn't mean we're looking for self-promoters or people who want to step on each other. We are looking for team builders, peer leaders, and collaborators who are leading and innovating. So if you take care of your flying stuff, you're a rock star in the jet and you're a rock star in the office, you're going to set yourself up for success. So that's a lot of effort on your part, and then hopefully the timing marries up and we can make some magic happen. But like I said before, you work for us, we'll work for you. Just try to manage expectations and, come to the office and talk to us. The more communication, the better, especially when you're about a year out from when you're going to be on the VML. That way we can start kind of vectoring things where we need you to go. But standing by for questions. Thanks, Lily.
Thanks, Colonel Kramer. Well, if there are no questions, I'm going to send this PowerPoint out on the OPD channel, so you guys can reference it, especially how to get to these awesome resources. I'll also include what Major Smith talked about. And as Colonel Kramer said, definitely come in and talk to us. If you're confused on any of these, or you just want to learn more, he has a wealth of knowledge and he loves talking to people, and we're here to help you. And definitely, if you know you haven't done a ribbon chart or it's maybe out of date, feel free to edit that or reach out to me and I'll send one to you for your year group. And that way our office can be tracking your dream sheet. But thank you all for joining, and I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions in the future or any other topics you want us to cover, please let us know, because we love to help you guys. So thank you. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thanks, Lily.
Thank you.